guys, welcome back to Pristine's Reads. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Orphan's Wish, Hagenheim number 8 by Melanie Dickerson. Again, I don't know why I'm skipping around in the series. I kind of misunderstood the order and read this one before The Silent Songbird, which is supposed to be before this book. But anyways, not much I can do about it now. I'll just have to read The Silent Songbird later. Anyways, this is the no spoiler video, just recorded that one. This is the super spoiler video, and if you would like no spoilers, please check out my no spoiler video. Alright, let's get down to it. First up is my summary and overall view of the plotline. So, The Orphan's Wish opens with introducing us to Ala-Addin, a small 5-year-old orphan boy in the Holy Land, and Ala-Addin is being forced to steal to keep on good terms with his master. But one day Ala-Addin is caught when he is stealing from a knight, and he thinks that this knight will do something terrible to him for catching him. But the knight turns Aladdin over to the priest, and a priest takes Aladdin back to Hagenheim, and there the priest cares for Aladdin until he dies, and then Aladdin is now moved to the orphanage at Hagenheim Castle. Aladdin soon forms a quick bond with the Duke and Duchess's third eldest daughter, Kirsten. And if I didn't mention this already, I think I might not have mentioned this. This is a retelling of Aladdin. Anyways, yeah. Okay, getting on with it. So Aladdin forms a quick friendship with Kirsten, and even though the other kids sometimes tease Aladdin because of his darker skin and hair color than theirs, Aladdin and Kirsten's friendship grows into a bond that time cannot break, and they grow even closer when Aladdin saves Kirsten from a bear one day. However, as they grow, things change, and Aladdin has this secret dream of one day hoping to maybe marry Kirsten, but he thinks that Kirsten would never accept something that is lower than what she is used to as her status as a duke's daughter. So Aladdin decides he has to go and make his fortune before he can come back for her. So one day when Aladdin is traveling, he saves this old man's caravan from a band of robbers, and this old man is so thankful to him and indebted to him. It turns out this old man's name is Herr Kaufmann, from a city called Lundberg, and Herr Kaufmann is in like the import-export business. He trades in like silk, spices, gold, that kind of things, and he's also famous in the salt industry. So it turns out Herr Kaufmann had a son who did some terrible things and like stole from him and disgraced Herr Kaufmann, and Herr Kaufmann like disowned the son, and the son ran away. So Herr Kaufmann's business is now starting to decline, and he's not bringing in as much profit as he should have. So Aladdin tells Herr Kaufmann that he is good at numbers and schoolwork. So Herr Kaufmann decides to take Aladdin with him to Lundberg if he wishes it, and then he proposes that Aladdin would be Herr Kaufmann's steward. So Aladdin decides that this would be a good way for him to make a name for himself, and says goodbye to Lady Kirsten and her family at the Hagenheim Castle and leaves to Lundberg. Once there, Aladdin turns Herr Kaufmann's business into this highly profitable, and Herr Kaufmann is just so thankful to Aladdin for coming to him and being his steward that he offers to Aladdin that he will make him his partner in business, and that Aladdin will inherit everything along with Herr Kaufmann's daughter Gretel when he dies. So Aladdin is so thankful for this as well, because that means he can eventually make his own fortune, and his own wages are growing day by day, and he can't wait till he can go and maybe ask Kirsten to marry him one day. However, he receives word from the Duke that Kirsten is missing, as she had been kidnapped at Hagenheim's May Day celebration, and Kirsten was taken, and her kidnappers are demanding a hefty ransom for her. So Duke Wilhelm offered to pay the ransom, but when he delivered it, the kidnapper who was there to receive the ransom just took it and ran, leaving his other partner behind and furious. This partner was so mad that he instantly decided that, nope, Kirsten's not going back to Hagenheim, and he took her away. And Aladdin, when he receives this word, is furious and scared, and he and Duke Wilhelm instantly start searching the entire country looking for them. But months go by and they find no trace of her. Aladdin soon begins to lose hope, but he thinks that if Kirsten was dead, then he would have felt something or known when she would have been gone. Duke Wilhelm is also starting to lose hope and eventually returns to Hagenheim. Meanwhile, Aladdin is still grief-stricken over Kirsten, and he cannot pay attention to stewarding Herr Kaufmann's business and starts to decline again. So Herr Kaufmann decides that he would like Aladdin to marry his daughter Gretel, and that way they could both inherit everything together. But Aladdin still loves Kirsten even though he thinks she might be dead or gone forever. But it turns out Kirsten is actually in Lüneburg, hiding there all along. One day Kirsten manages to escape, but she has no idea where she is, but she makes her way to this church where a helpful priest finds her and brings her to Herr Kaufmann's house. There Kirsten is well cared for, and she can now tell everything about her horrible ordeal from being held by this kidnapper. And her kidnapper's name, which is Michael, they found out that Michael was actually Herr Kaufmann's son, and after he ran off after being disgraced from Herr Kaufmann, Michael decided to kidnap Lady Kirsten as she would bring in a heavy sum of money where he could be prosperous, but it didn't work, obviously. So Michael has to go to jail now, and everything is alright, except with Aladdin and Kirsten. So while Kirsten had been gone, Aladdin had agreed to marry Gretel, even though he didn't love her. He just wanted to make Herr Kaufmann happy, and he thought that Kirsten would never be heard from again. But here she is, and now Aladdin has a real dilemma because his feelings for Kirsten has come back stronger than ever, but he had promised to marry Gretel. It all turns out alright in the end, however, as Aladdin is able to gently break his betrothal to Gretel, but by then Kirsten is back at Hagenheim, Duke Wilhelm having taken her there after Michael's trial. So Aladdin goes back to Hagenheim, but Herr Kaufmann had told him that if he went back to Hagenheim, then he would have no more share in his business, and Aladdin is still heartbroken knowing that he would have to make a fortune to marry Kirsten. But he goes back to Hagenheim anyways and sets up a little shop there. While there, he uncovers this scandal of another merchant stealing from the other merchants' warehouses, and Aladdin turns in all these merchants, and yeah, but he feels like his life is still not complete without Kirsten, and eventually he makes his way to Hagenheim Castle. Kirsten, however, is still suffering the scars and the mental injuries of this huge traumatic incident. Whenever somebody touches her on the wrist or makes a loud noise, she thinks back to the time where Michael had tied her with rope from the wrists, or whenever he was in a drunken fit and maybe hurt her, slapped her, but she's scared and still suffering injuries. And when Aladdin comes, Kirsten is angry at him for not coming sooner when she needed him. But everything turns out alright in the end, and they get married, and yeah, the end. So now I'm going to give you the morals of this book. First up is worldviews. So again, I love these books for the strong Christian beliefs and worldviews taught here. I feel like there was this prodigal son element there, like some kind of semblance to that. I don't know if it's just me or if it was on purpose, but yeah, I found no other prominent worldviews displayed here. But I do think at the end there was a bit of a underlying theme of deception when Aladdin was busy trying to figure out how to break his betrothal to Grethel, but never having Kirsten have to know, because then he could have just married her. But it was all addressed in the end, as Kirsten did find out, but she forgave Aladdin. And yeah. Next up is violence. That's it. There was a fight in the end when Michael and Aladdin fought. Aladdin killed Michael after Michael escaped from jail, and then they had to hunt him down. Aladdin killed Michael, and yeah. Also, Michael and one of Kirsten's other kidnappers, a woman named Anna, were in an abusive relationship where Michael would hit Anna sometimes, and if he was angry enough, sometimes Kirsten too. But there's nothing too, like, gory, and yeah. Next up is romance. Again, I think this was one of the lower level romance books in this series. There was only a few kisses, and Kirsten wasn't, like, hurt in that way by Michael or by anybody else. So yeah, that's it. Next up is alcohol. Michael got drunk quite a few times, but we never have that much detail into that, just that he came back to where he was hiding Kirsten drunk. Yeah. Now I'm gonna give you my rating and recommended age level. I'm gonna rate this book 4 stars this time. I'm not giving it 5 stars because I felt like the writing style was a bit slow. Like, it didn't... I think Melanie Dickerson could have written it a bit better. I mean, like, while there was action there for sure, I feel like it wasn't woven into the story well enough. It felt a bit forced, and the story dragged at some parts. So it wasn't the best book to read in that kind of sense, but, like, it's nothing to do with the content or the morals. Like, those are all great. It's just my own personal rating preference. But yeah, my recommended age level is 12 to 13 plus. I am lowering it just 1 year because of, again, the lowered romance level. I think that makes it slightly more appropriate for a slightly younger audience. But again, parents, please use discretion based on your child's maturity, age, and understanding. I feel like I say that every video. I think I do. But yeah, it's an important thing to say, so I am saying it. Anyways, I cannot wait to go read the rest of the books in this series. They're all sitting right here beside me, taunting me, because my dad said I could only read one at a time and then review one at a time. But yeah, I don't know why I'm saying this. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Bye! A woman was sitting on a stool at the outskirts of the marketplace with a large basket covered with a linen cloth. "Sausage and rolls," she called out to them.
Hot dogs!
"May I have one?" Kirsten's eyes were bright as she turned to him.
I want one too!
"Of course." He paid the woman, and she gave him 2 long bread rolls and 2 sausages about the length of his hand. He gave one of each to Kirsten. "How are you supposed to eat it?"
You just shove it into your mouth and swallow it whole, duh.
"Any way you like, but I put them together like this." He pressed the sausage into the roll, so when he took a bite, he bit through both of them. Kirsten did the same with hers. She closed her eyes and chewed. "That is very good. I can almost taste sauerkraut." "That's because sauerkraut's cooked inside the bread."
What's sauerkraut?
By the way, Shona, sauerkraut is like fermented cabbage. Just thought you'd like to know.